for your more bibia ajo emomako abade mobano nsia kase so Cyrus TV Nsroma Kaseɛbɔ and some awodra yensa so eno ene braso se ye jepene ne kenkan ensem no ede emawo na ende eyo benim bosomine de to so eduenu ensia na ende so ye wukuada ensem bia wo bete we kase nu emu omampani dada abedi chire abomoden akwakopie mu ewo edum ensem odi tu eja no ye bete ye de betu eja we kase no so ede amamo
Ghana mampeni edinani etremu ewo tamale no akwahye se obesi modern facility hospital ede ama eye tamalefo ewo yendi
Engane chief of staff so edin sembi atu eja ni nyina no fafo megudie no eho nsem ne bedom wesuko ewo kase no so
openi a oda edom kase no ano eye mahama ayariga ochiremu a Ghana mampeni asembi a obeka bia no eye bohye na wodi so
Apam Global Outreach and asedani nyina no eko ede amano isanso no ena dani de nyina so ye muma ye kinkan kase do ede mam so chem rescue point and so chem rescue junction atna kase do ebutuo nyam emma ye china ade mpa bo kase be koso ewo fidue mu ha eni ti se wo refra na wa hye so ede amaye so wo be ko ejuma wo be ko baabi eye honko na mekanfo ede amaw sa so ena ne memele da no obo ade de chen ya communion service ebekoso eni ti bomoden se wo becha weni ede aba bepiebu ewo fidie mu ha ahoma obetumi afre ni 0249666993 and 054037828294 acheche enkomo akenkan fo ne yeme na ama Fordjour mene
kachire nua nana ya Sikapa
ye nana ye ho nkomra ne ba ensem ne bekenkan ede amamo So kind me dane ye ho enko piemu ewo eye northern region dia Ghana mampeni edi thank you to ni na ye na se ye nyina nim se 2024 eye ade abato ekọ so na okọ eye ntoabo ewo eye mantem edu ensia ni nyina na openi nu kopiemu ewo ho oton ne nsem ematememufo so etoye eto abado edemano eni ntini sani akwakoye ne de na o so ochima mantem du nsia ni nyina no ede na se chichiridie ede koma eye tememufo na nu no openi nu kopiemu ewo ho do ode atu eja se enam setemale so papa yie ena inso so wakwatwe yie pa ewo ho eni ntini ombeye ne se obeboa no wono aye nioma ahodo bebre no a se na insuo ebetumi aba ho amatememufo enye bi ano
Tamale is also suffering a shortage of water, perennial water shortages. And that is because the population of Tamale continues increasing exponentially. And so at every point, we must plan to bring more water into Tamale. And so another priority project is to expand the Tamale water supply. This time our intention is to draw the water from the south of Tamale, that is from as far as Yape on the White Volta, and bring that water through Honorable Haruna's constituency. And agriculture, we realize that because of climate change, the rainfall pattern is erratic. And so government is targeting irrigation development because without water control, farming becomes like gambling. I remember last year after our farmers had planted, the rains were good, and then at a certain point, the rain stopped falling for almost 10 weeks. And many farmers lost the crops. And so our intention is to focus on irrigated agriculture. And the northern region is going to get its fair share of the initial 10,000 hectares of land that we're going to put under irrigation.
Wasasam na emu na Ghana mampeni share tamale omaino ebose obebo modia na wasi modern hospital sade ebeya ebeboa temamufo no ama omo osebi obabi ye wo ya obetimi abomodia akọ yandi abonten so na wakwakwaje ayarehwe enu nti obebo modia na wasi hospital ama yandi mine no se ne ebeya omo hododo omo a omo bekọ ho akwakwaje ayarehwe
na under healthcare. One project that has been dear to your hearts, that has been left abandoned for so many years, is the Yendi Hospital. I can assure you working with lawyer Jofa, we're going to achieve that project and build a modern healthcare facility here in Yendi. In addition, we intend to upgrade the old Tamale Central Hospital in order that it will ease the pressure on the Tamale Teaching Hospital. So we're going to upgrade both the Tamale Municipal Hospital, which used to be called West Hospital at Zogbeli, and the Tamale Central Hospital are both going to be upgraded so that we can ease the pressure on the Tamale Teaching Hospital. There are two important water projects that we intend to undertake during the tenure of this administration. And one of them is the Yendi Water Supply Project. Nayana, I can assure you that inshallah, by the time I come to say goodbye at the end of the tenure of my administration, Yendi will have enough water supply to drink.
That's why Jiremu ewo thank you to Ghana Mampedi's Excellency Ora John Dramani Mahama Edison to abono akwakopiemu ewo etifi mantam no emu na no enopeni no sanso ehye board na oka nsema hudro bebre no a na sania inwomesi ekono eyade ofasa akonya no so ebo eya santehene otumfo oseitutu otoso mienu abaso sei ohyenia ekoso ewo boko ane nimpotem na osreni ni age ne krade free ni nsem afei so otimemu ni nam ho na afei age ne kra ode eya adesrede to eya santehene enim nanso endrada no pusu eya ohimpon ahomem na oda openi no asese ode na no atum na wo hyehye ekwan a obetumi ama asumdwe eyi ne ti ede aba boko ane nimpotem.
The programs I have just outlined and the commitments my government has made to you and the brighter future we envision for all our children will mean nothing if we leave behind communities that are scarred by violence, towns that are silenced by curfews, and corporations eroded by distrust. What use will our dreams be if they stand on broken ground? What future do we promise our children if they inherit walls of mistrust instead of bridges of hope? A nation divided by past wounds cannot march forward into the promise of tomorrow. We must commit to living above the slights and injuries of yesterday if we will seize the opportunities and promises of tomorrow. Let us choose peace not out of fear but out of strength, not as a surrender but as the highest act of courage to secure our collective quest for progress. Let history remember us not for the battles that we fought against one another, but for the unity we forged in the face of disagreement. Peace can and peace must reign in Boko and surrounding areas. I called His Majesty Otumfo Osei-Tutu II yesterday to thank him for the commencement of his mediation efforts to find a peaceful resolution of the conflict in Boko. It is my hope that all parties to the conflict who took part in the mediation process in Meshia last week will consider the proposals with an open mind and return in good faith to the negotiations when they resume in
trade, industry and business and agribusiness. Mame Elizabeth Ofosu Asare, Mami Eddie and Sembi Ababetuja. Ninsema wakanyina ene say, Omo ebie omo puno ama ankra bia say, Omo edi odo ebebo odomu said ebeya, or my Ghana impuntuo ebebemu, na Ghana so yetimi yeniswadi hunubiano, yetimi afa.
Companies that are producing capacity of what we need. They have capacity to produce what we need as a country. And so if we are the traders, we can patronize them. Immediately we start patronizing them. I don't even believe in too many laws. I believe in people understanding the process and doing what is right. If, for example, as Guta, we work closely with AGI, and we know the things that they are producing over capacity, then we can decide not to import without any law. Nobody passes a law for us to import the things. We decide to import. move into production. I'm sure when we are working closely with AGI, we ourselves are doing the good things. We are also conscious about import substitution. We don't have any problem at all. No law can do it better than we decide to do it better ourselves.
Sky trade won sense we yin say aban ababesin eko MPP aban ade a wono eka saa ensem no ehun say wo beye eye ehyen ana dwumedie bi se ne befa wiem na aboa amasa na traffic awodro eba oman Ghana emu no etumi ate eni nti no panin kwankyerefo na ono no ye dwumtenani ede ma Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund ano eni oda ano eni owura Solomon Amoa ade a Attorney General aban lawyer Penny Dr. Dominic Anyini ede atu eja wo bro friends emtwofo enhyiemu no ode atu wo no enim say sikachitiri die bi ena wotabiri se wode ba baye eye sky trade na nso no wo ehun popoye bia ena sika no akwakoda eye nkofo mienu ebotom eni nti no openi no ekirem say penin kwantwofo na ono eda eye gifek no ano eni ora Solomon Amoa asamoa ade openi no emprempren wejane akwakoshe eye Senegal na no pedi no so atobi ede amona eye Attorney General na Attorney General kiremu a enkofo mienu ena sisie wo ho akwakobon ensem wo ye nhyehyemu na wono afa enkofo no na wono atoto wono ano ene eye Board of Directors nipa baako ono no eka Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund no any Professor Ameyawe Kumfi ena Owura Solomon Asamoa ena sisie no wo hwehwe enim so wa be pie mu wo Attorney General enim na wodi nhyehyemu efire ase.
In respect of Sky Train, we can confirm that the 2 million was paid at the request of the chairman of the Board of Directors of the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, that is GIIF, Prof. Ameya Ekumfi, and then and then the CEO, Mr. Solomon Asamoa, who is currently hiding in Senegal. We tracked him first and noticed that he was in South Africa. So he left Ghana somewhere around February 2nd, the 2nd of February, to South Africa. So we were monitoring him in South Africa, and then he left South Africa and is now in Senegal. When we contacted him, he told us that he will not come to Ghana until I think he didn't say April, 3 months from now. Okay, so he's giving us 3 months to come to Ghana, very much like Ken Oforiatta, right? It reminds me of Ken Oforiatta. So he says he will come to Ghana in 3 months. So we are patiently waiting for him. If he wants to be tried in absentia, that is his choice to make. But we have the prosecutorial authority to prosecute him in absentia. And of course, the person who acted with him to transfer that money, the Prof. Ameya Ekumfi, is in the country. So if there is going to be delay, we'll start.
Ebeto just said ghost names bebre EPMU ewo National Service Secretary for Asweye Enunti Aban issue order say omonfa nhwehwemu enwu akwanu eno na Attorney General edi ensembi ababetudwa Papa edi awojeso Dr. Dominic openini chiremu a womu ensa aso enipa nkuna womu susu se womu eka ho bi na emrepemu no omu de womu ensemu nyina ebeba betudwa.
In the National Service scandal, 8 suspects have been interrogated, and a good number of them have started singing. They are cooperating with our no, they've started singing literally. Yeah. So we will give you details of their songs at the appropriate time. In view of the fact that so indeed we now have evidence of payments that were made into the accounts of the top executives of the National Service by vendors, private vendors, and staff of the scheme. We also have evidence that in November 2024, and listen to this carefully, the CEO of the National Service Scheme and others paid a Ghanaian MP to kill the story in the media and to defend them.
Yankwa ensem fufuro emu ewo yekase ne so dia na yekwa kopie mu ewo mrahyebeja efie na enam senia eye attorney general mechere aban lawyer Penny senia ode ne nsa ekeka eye NPP aban no eno no enam so ema edom kuma no afrensem chofo enhyiemu na omode nsem bi ato eye nsem chofo enim se enniema eye Dominic ana owura Dominic anyini eye no edichem eye ade a encheye kura so anya de a ebeboa opani no akiremu a senia ode ne nsa keka wonwa wo aban dada no emu mechere MPP aban ena ne etosu mienu no wo konkrofo emfiefie na afi no wode won nsa keka niema sese no eyade a enche yie kura na yenim se wo man yi mu de court wo ho eni nti emra no ewo se edi eni nipa ni di eni nti se wo ya attorney general na wo ye pani bi na wonya asembia na wohu asembia wodie ne se wode beko asemdibia na emom no onfra yensem twofo enhyiemu emfa nsem no entompeti ne koba ne se nipa no kotinemu ewo asemdibia na ne ho son a edan na obeye ensem ni nkyeremu no openi no etu nenum tu.
Attorney General is an officer of the court. His interest is to assist the court in dispensing justice when investigators bring their case and evidence. The posture of the new AG undermines this rule. He is no longer acting as an officer of the court, but is instead acting as someone who has conducted his own inquisition, determined guilt of a suspect, and is seeking to force his view or his views on the courts. The practice undermines the role of the Attorney General and undermines the administration of justice. All well-meaning voices that respect the operation of the rule of law should call on it to an end and to end it now as we speak. We are asking that all well-meaning voices that respect the operation of the rule of law should call on the Attorney General to put an end to this immediately. The Attorney General is not expected to start off by prejudicing an investigation and in his mind conducting an inquisition on suspects. Since when did we have an Attorney General who himself orders arrest, conducts investigations, and examines his own evidence to determine if a prima facie case is being documented or documented?
Wasasem na emu na domkuma no omuguso ede omano etuja omu echiremu a Attorney General ade a woye no entwaye kra sebi akoye ne se omu eye edomkuma no na Ghana hanom se no ye wo amamra eye na eboye ho ban enu nti no se de ase Attorney General afa eye emra ne de ahye ne nsem na oye ne se de wo pe no entwaye kra na Ghana hanom no ye wo emra eboye ho eban.
We are here this morning to remind the learned Attorney General of the Republic of the constitutional provisions that protect the citizens of the Republic. We are here to remind the learned Attorney General of Article 14 of the Constitution, which talks about the protection of personal liberty. We are here to remind him that that provision is still part of our laws. We are here to remind the learned Attorney General that Article 15 of our Constitution, which talks about human dignity, is still part of the laws of this country. Articles 18 and 19 of our Constitution, which deal with the protection of privacy, of home and property, and of course due process, have not been repealed from our Constitution. And for that matter, any person who is given the opportunity as our learned Attorney General to enforce our law must do so within the provisions of this Constitution. The sanctity of these constitutional provisions quoted above and the duty placed on the Attorney General of the Republic, who also doubles as Minister for Justice, require the AG to ensure that a person charged with criminal offense is protected and presumed innocent until proven guilty by a court of competent jurisdiction or until that person has pled guilty.
Yada so jinemu ewo mrashebedwa efie na swafo a ono na ehye enwumesua ensem eso na osanso eye mrashebedwani ewo eye impotembi na sema ode atu ewo mrashebedwa efie na wotie openi no nsenkaye emu a ekire se na tese oman ni sika no na tse MPP aban no watoto nioma se papa ye ewo sikasem emu wo hye koko afebu ekachichiri die eda ho na afa niam bi entumi ankoso ye wo bra na MPP aban no a enkane mampani ani orana na dodanko ekufuado ono ena eda wono ano no na wuntumi nton koko na wuntumi so ento eno ena owura haruna ijurusu ejina simpie so do okire mu se enwo benyan so wo bepa obibi foforo na afa wono ede strategy bidi atotototo so sane ebeboa ama koko no ebetumi ayeye na wono etumi aton na enya ensofa so.
One, Mr. Speaker, is for us to accept that when the Honorable Minister for Finance said that we have inherited an economy in crisis and an economy in distress, it's an understatement to say that Ghana's economy is in crisis. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, our economy is not only hidden by debt, but what we should be mindful of as a country is the burden we are continuing to impose on the Ghanaian taxpayer. Even economists have agreed that it is not about growth projection and about how much economic growth of GDP is the best measure of your living standard. The truth is that in Ghana, Mr. Speaker, cost of living is high, cost of doing business is high, and enabling environment for the private sector to deal with matters of employment is not being addressed. So, Mr. Speaker, I just take two sectors, then I come to education. Take, for instance, the cocoa sector, which used to produce 850 metric tons of cocoa. We even achieved 1 million tons of cocoa. Today, with all the investment we have made, Mr. Speaker, we are only boasting of 530,000 of.
Openi oda edom kese no ano eni Mahama Ayariga openi no ede nsembi atodwa na asema waka nyina ne se eye Ghana mampeni oye coaching coach or say Mahama has talk and do ochire mu se Ghana mampeni eka asema oye esan se wabra yato ne so aba na obeye Ghana mampeni no oka se obeyi betin tax every honum wode wosie ayoyo wasanso echire mu se ode obeyi e-levy every honum wasanso ede osie ayoyo eno nti no o kana asemu nyina akwa akosi said de Ghana mampeni eye talk and do.
Budget clearly establishes President John Dramani Mahama as a talk and do president of Ghana. And do president of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, President John Dramani Mahama promised to abolish e-levy. E-levy, Yamutu. E-levy abolished. Talk and do president. President John Dramani Mahama promised to abolish the betting tax. Betting tax, Yamutu. Talk and do president. President John Dramani Mahama promised to abolish emission levies. Mr. Speaker, the budget policy promises to do that. Talk and do, President. Mr. Speaker, President John Dramani Mahama promised to abolish the VAT on motor vehicle insurance policy. Mr. Speaker, that is also going. Talk and do, President. President John Dramani Mahama promised not to tax small-scale miners. Mr. Speaker, that is also going. Talk and do, President.
Yada so ejinemu ewo mrashebedwa efie na ye share swafo a ono no ehye oman sikasem entoto ye eso na bedi echire eni owura Thomas Ampem Nyako Openino enso gyina mu wo mrahye fie ekasaye edefa eniema baako mienu efa ne ekachichidi a MPP aban wono ebo oman no efom. Openino kyerɛ mu a wo hye eye statistics nhyehyɛmu ne eniema bi a wokekesi eni ewo Controller and Accountant General Department a ade a NPP aban woni chiesi kechichidi a ne dodo no esom 32.7 billion Ghana cedis ede ko hye eye ejuma bi mu eni ntini nyina ene se na wo pese wo bo oman ni sikasab no efom pa ansa na wono ejai won dibre no ede ato.
Finance Minister did on to office was to request all MDAs to bring stock of arrears to the Finance Ministry. They did so. We further went to conduct a validation exercise with them, and we have stated that beyond this, we are going to audit it. You were complaining about an arrears stock of 7 billion. 8 years, you have shot it up to 49 billion. Mr. Speaker, that is not all. Apart from that, in fact, this figure does not include the 68 billion cedis owed by ECG. It does not include the 32 billion cedis owed by Cocoa Board. It does not include the $1.73 billion owed to the IPPs. It does not include the 5.7 billion cedis owed by the road sector. Mr. Speaker, this is what they left us. And what is shocking, Mr. Speaker, the shocking part is what I'm going to talk about. From 7th December, when they lost power, to 7th January, when they handed over power, a period of 1 month, statistics at the Controller and Accountant General's Department shows that they made payments to the tune of 32.7 billion cedis.
MP for Gomoa Central, Honorable Asari Kwame Boateng, Edia Duana Edinim no, A+. Wabra okopie mu ewo mrahye fie no empanifo ebisa no ensimfo amienu miensebi asema oyi odiyi ano no nyina omubisa ne se ni dibra pa ene dien o kire mu se ono ade ba ko pe ene da na koma so se Ghana hanom impuntudwuma beba hanom se eno nti ade a ode nani ewo ho nani wo ho pa se be ye pa eye 24-hour economy no openi no e kire insemu se.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. My focus will be on strategy to transform Ghana's economy through the 24-hour economy program and how we can deal with our enclave economy. And as a member of the Committee for Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration of the Ninth Parliament, I also look at how we can leverage the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement for sustainable development. Mr. Speaker, in the landmark case of Tufo versus Attorney General, Justice Soa, who was the Chief Justice at the time, delivered a historic judgment that reinforced the supremacy of our Constitution. In fact, he stated, and I quote, "The Constitution has a spirit, and its language must therefore be considered as if it were a living organism capable of growth and development." Mr. Speaker, the aforesaid statement by Justice Soa applies to the 2025 budget. In fact, it must not be seen as mere figures, but as a living blueprint with a spirit or even a soul. It carries the hopes of struggling Ghanaian families, the dreams of young entrepreneurs, and the fate of critical national policies and programs.
Yenjina Ora Kwame A+ and 7 or the 2 Ejani Nsroma Kaseɛbɔ Sumratiawa.
Nyame asumdwe enkamo. The nchiakese ifi asafurade ebro. Asafu ayefra no Apam Global Outreach nyame akwa nyame difo nyame sempakafo evangelist papa ni agema eda ano. Yawoda weni yawoda biara. Boabo nyame adehia no ɛde mpaebɔ de ne mpaebɔ ayaresa wom mpaebɔ agye wom mpaebɔ ebiebie apono ɛma adanse akɛse epie dodo na ɛba mpaebɔ yi bi no ana enya wa adanse die ɔdɔfo emra so sa won so wode hu bewura sa mpaebɔ we mu yawo da idi manim ɛne yawo da ɛba nyinaa sa mpaebɔ ɛkɔso entimeto nsafro sa wo so fa wo haw fa wo dadwen fabra mpaebɔ yi bi na wura safo wurade ɛbɛkasa ama ye wo Sotium Rescue Junction Sotium Rescue Junction ubenya Sotium ka ewo kaneshi odoko dansoma kwashima La Paz Circle Accra Tama Station Accra CMB Station Madina Ofanko Barrier Pukwase Amasamai kachire Mitsubishi Rescue Junction mo amfi dodo wa dowenya afienya pram ashiama tema ashie oyibi Adenta School Junction Teshi Numwa La Usu 37 Laboni Musumfa La Paz ka na besi e La Paz usi La Paz Las Palmas Restaurant animu a ubenya Sotium ka o kachire Mitsubishi Rescue Junction kaso an important for na mu abesi Malam Junction Musumfa La Paz ka na besi e Kwashima bus stop wo usi bus stop wo a Sotium cars ejejina ho fabi na usubisi Rescue Junction usi Rescue Junction block factory bi wo akwan da block factory mfa so ye signboard esi wanim signboard no ekire okwan efa obenkum na nso abeka ho bi dwumadi ehia ase anopa no nson na duba ko ne fa na yapon odofo awurade mu Bible say with God all things are possible it also fa habra na safi hu abekasa ama yaminshira
Yanda sisa wo kan ye ho ma ye dane ye ho kwaje aboafo nkrato yetia ensem ne so edi amawa enkane Chief Justice ene Maami Sofia Ekufu ono asanso ka eye mpenimfo a wono ewo eye Institute of Economic Affairs no IEA oka ho na dwumedie bi ekoso IEA fo de dwumedie bi hyehyɛ so na eno na nsamtwofo ekopie mu ewase eni ti wo wie dwumedie no ewie no ena wone Maami Sofia ekyekye enkomo maame ne nsem a odi tu edwa nyina efafo megudi a emfa embra kwan eso na eno na Maami Sofia Ekufu ekire mu se emfa so die yenya wo fo megudi no so no eyekuma bi eni kwan so sanka eba ne sa ewo se ye bomodi nya siketichiri die pa ene mfa so die efiri eyefo megudi no eso eni ntido odi adesredie eto Ghana mampeni His Excellency Ora John Dramani Mahama enim say osre no opane chew anka onfa eye enkofo wo man emu sabi wonu nimu de abobe ewo eye ntiase ewo fumegudie a emfa mbra kwan no eso ana eye illegal mining no eho na wonye nsakraye ani nhihyemu ewo Ghana ya mambra metre 1992 constitution no article 257 subcross 6 wonye nsakraye ewum esanse saa tumi no magana mampeni nko aho kwan na mmom nso woye nsakraye ne nhihyemu no a eyade atumi no timemuni bia ebetumi enyana mfasodie no etumi epu aba
no ai yeri kanse aban ene se no ese woyi committee bi won no committee bi na mbe se nipa benum bi wo nimdie mining ne petroleum ni ade nimdie pa na won chere sania there koyen enim no mra no ni esese nsisan esese ebem apam na wan ahihye de down no contract no eno no nso no sania nsisan a esese ebem sania ebeya sania niema nyina oduma chede na onyankopon di ama oman no Sikapa, Fordjour, any near Mahuru, Nadi, Ahura, assassin, Nininan, Senya Beya, Ghana Nibia, Fiabo Fraco do Peninsu, Obia Benyamu Amfaso, and if he says, I will share, grow me in Crasibia, if you're him penning Bresu. Now,
Yemfa yeni entremu ewo aposi for asua ye dia na eye posi sahene Christian tete yiwonu ode ensembi ababetuja openinu echiremu a Ghana eye illegal mining eye wonu mu a omudi tumi ehye wo monsa na omubobo mode a ede tumi ne hye omonsa ekotu efom agudi a emfambra kwanso no sisi ade wode ne nan ebesi fem pa ne watu sane yema nyina ase esanse se yensuo ene yensa ase a aka no ene wode wani ekokyeremu ewo nkronkro mienu miensa bi so a galamse adawromanti yensuruwa no asai pa openi ni kyeremu a obia mfa ne hu hyem ne entu galamse yase etitru ene regional commander bia no or pesa omumfa omuhu enjim sene ebeya yebetimi etu galamse ase ewo my Ghana.
When citizens trust the police, they share information. When they feel respected, they cooperate. When they believe we are here to serve them, they support us. The trust cannot be demanded. It must be earned through transparency, through professionalism, and through fairness and equity.
This lawlessness must not be allowed to continue. We are declaring war on crimes related to illegal mining, and I expect every regional commander to take decisive action to bring perpetrators to justice.
Since I became the Minister of Interior, we have returned well over 107 citizens of other countries that we have found in fraud and in galamsey activities. I want to reiterate to the regional police commanders in particular that any foreigner that we find in our forest, immediately call your colleague from the immigration for them to pick them, because we have decided that any foreigner that we find in our forest or involved in any fraud, our first option is to repatriate them back into their country.
Yemfa yeni enkopie mu asante mantema hinkro kumase na yenyina enim se ade ampenifo ahodo bebrenu abope akọ ni nyina edum eja eto yesotos ahodo bebrenu emu a enam so amagedifo no entimi amfa bibia ewo ho a nyoma ni nyina no ahyegyerebe ade ampenifo ahodo do ede atu eja no wo chen otumfo osei tutu na afi no wono ahye kwan a obefa so ayese obeyi kwan ede atu wono bojobojo ewo weni mu nyina no wono etumi eyi edi efiri ho Frankatuni ana enkane Frankatuni edema NPP amanyoko no ene Dr. Mahamedu Bawumia penino ekopie mu ewo ho na okoye nsem bebrenu na odi tu ejana fe ode adesrede eto eye omampeni eye owura John Dramani Mahama enim se osere ne papa wonu esi eye market ewo eye asantemantemu eye NPP aban ne frase nanso ihyemu a ana wo hyemu a 80% wono abomodi ewie nti aka 20% osere se empenifo ntumi nye sane ebeboa megedifo no eho etumi ahenhan ho
yo me da say me jise nano efiada ena meti se riche bi abo asanteman abo PZ market ha mesumi hu wo TV so ade a na ekoso eja na ehye eja yinyina drum yinyina me da mentminda ohwa na eya awrohopa se nipa ejadifo omujapade na ehye sa mehwe video mu ena mehu metie papa bi ose owa drum ha 21 years ena ninyema nyina ahye na mikase mintina ankran mebaha na mabahwe se de etie na mama obia shedding mama mu yako na uhwe said e baaye no a yenim adekra ema we baaye eja no e baaye ebi mo say e dum so ebi mo say e electrical fault but yentwen na yenye investigations ni nyina enwie because investigations no are enwie a yentimi hu adekwa eye him so the omuye investigations no wie a na yehu ade a kwan a yebefa so se de torichema eba ha no emba bio na me pese me apili ma aban se usha
yes anso eginemu ewo eye kumase edum akwasi kwa no wonko ye no gina nkwantia na jese eginemu wo ho anoma edia na eye adetomfo wo ho edia de srede akọ ama na osei otumfo osei tutu the second eye kumase man hene omo de adesrede ato nanim se omo sere omo ye pa renwe honom no onsanso emfama wo mo esan se ehwa na wo mo etonton wo made no mo gifiri wo ogifiri eye omo nsema omo hu bekwa atwa mu pa esan se ehwa na omo gina eton wade enti wo sere se na entwa nani emfa nhwe wo mo no omo mode a engi renwe junction honom emfama wo mo na omo nton ade ewo ho.
Let me try. I have a mission. I'm and Pam no me my F4. And Pandabia, someone on Cobo Mountain, have a yard money, a boy, and one of the DD, and Tipano Corona, Senior. Yes, some boys are runways. I hold you a down, Marcia, your doors be brave. About 10,000. Your doors be brave, and runways. I hold you a down. It's here to go from set. Yes,
Ejodifo wo ho kan ye ewo eye edum ejakese nu emu no wo no atintosu kokko ede akire eye impenimfo akire mu a won ankasa pese wode embra ne hye wonu ensem no woye ne mbra kwan eso senia eye eja ne to mu no wo hye eye edumjafo na wonu ntumi mfo wo hye wo kyerem kra hwibaro kra no na wontumi emfa emu eba ne sa ne kyesa akwakoyi oye ne kese pa eninti ena wonu entumi anso eja no ano a ebo moden hye nioma ahodro bebre no a eninti ne penifo akiremu a won ankasa pese wode embra no etu bebi a eda se wo beye niam yie no wono esisisi eye stores ni yie ejodifo isu kiremu ade bi da esanse won ankasa pese won tintim won stores ewo ho esanse wo yi kwan no a eyade beye den papa ede ama won ntumi nya kwan a wode beye store no ewo kwan no eho aton eba ne sa na eso mo kwa kwhihye baabi aninti wo sre ede adesrede ekọ ede ama asante hene otumfo osai tutu otosumienu
ene na osei nana osei otumfo edi we de mi hu boda otumfo osei tutu the second besrawa abomodian ne to ani ehwe wo mu isanse eden pa se oniema ebehye ye free sa ensem ne so ane ede ani etwremu ewo eye openia oda Bank of Ghana ano edi awoje so eye Johnson esiama openi ni kiremu a eniema bo aye den pa ewo man Ghana mu eniema bo aye den kyese wono ankasa kra no wodwen ho a wonte ase o kiremu sei.
While inflation is easing, I'm sure you have gone through your blue books. It remains uncomfortably high, and I must emphasize the word uncomfortably. Remains high at over 23%, and progress has been slow, particularly on a month-on-month basis. For instance, structural drivers of food inflation remain persistent. The external environment, colleagues, is another area which, though currently supportive, is becoming increasingly volatile. We've seen a strong trade surplus, and we've seen some solid reserve buildup, as the data in the Blue Book will show, and these on the back of gold exports and remittance flows. But colleagues, we also see a possible escalation in global tariff wars. We also see rising geopolitical tensions, and we see a weakening in Chinese.
Yankoswafo a ono na ehye nkitahudie enseb eso enu no owura Sam Nate George opani no etremu a wobro ofri ne dwumedie ase ewo eye asoya wono to enkra na wono ekasafa nkitahudie enseb ehono ena oye nhyehyemu bi na san nhyehyemu no oye no kyeremu se sikafia bi etesa no menum ena sabe wono edekoto eye eteltigo na kyese eye $1 na nu no opani no ekyeremu se eye no wonwa ye papa esanse nansenya eye a inkane soafo na ono no ehye ho maami esla owusu nsemse na ode tu ejo so wode say sika wei na wode to sa airtel tigodo na nu na owura Sam Nate George edi atu eja se enche ye na eye ATC na chose American Tower Companies wono edi tiketi tuli die bi dia ba beto se wei ni eka eda ho eni ntini mpanifo enhye na wonye wono enim yi.
For anyone to have told us that they bought Airtel Tigo for $1 and have taken over the ministry, and ATC, American Tower Company, just one of the companies Airtel Tigo owes, brought us a bill of 1.5 billion Ghana cedis. 1.5 billion Ghana cedis. That's just ATC alone. Today, the American ambassador was in my office with a team, and one of the major issues was the indebtedness to ATC. The debt sitting on the books of Airtel Tigo is in excess of 3.5 billion Ghana cedis. So if someone told you they bought it for $1, who is going to pay the 3.5 billion that's sitting there and growing, accruing interest? And that's why I say those who carried out that action lack any sense of patriotism. Because most of the debt is debt that was accrued by Millicom, which was a private American company running Tigo, and Bharti Airtel, an Indian company. And you know, to show you how irresponsible the actions were,
wasansem na emu na eye opani Sam George editu dwase abandada besen kono omubo modia efa enipa ewo Ghana Post mu na satama omo efa nipa no eye aban ya abaso sisia no eka kire ne se hwe eno amfa obia na omo eba omo ankasa ba bomodia atena se afa omo be ye adwuma edi amomo nanso ye aban dada besen twemu no omo amfa wose anye oyo omo ankasa efa nipa eno na opani ni kire mu a wabomodia ayi enipa bako 100 edi se omo enkonko tenafie opani no ekire ni nsemu say.
People have raised questions about the staff rationalization ongoing at the ministry. But if you are a minister and you take over a ministry that has 3,117 staff in the ministry and its agencies, and you realize that almost 600 of them were recruited after December 7. Basically, you cannot expect me to come and inherit such mess and continue with it. And so the rationalization is ongoing. Today, I have authorized the termination of a few more at Ghana Post, almost 100, that were done post-December 7. And we'll continue this rationalization. I will clean up the ministry, make sure it is lean and efficient, and carries out its work.
Yemfree ora ensama oditu eje na afa yemfa yeni enchemu ewo National Road Safety Authority say NRSA Penin Kwanchefo na Acting Director General Edma Asoye eni ora Ibrahim Amanleba na opelino ede inkate piembontene esom wachire mu say okada no wo baba ye no kwansron koso kra se ne ebebo ma fidie tetafo ebetumi die chi street aye adwuma na won wo be use no ana wodi bedi dwuba no wonso wo benya mfaso die ewo emu aninti owura eye amanle bad to eja okyere mu se enche ye ena wote ekuo abedwokuo nipa dumiensa ena ewom na sankofo yina no wono eba ba ye nsakraye ewo wono LI 2180 eno no damra shebedwe fie metre Road Traffic Regulations 2012 no wababa ye nsakraye ewo mesan se MPP aban oyifiri hokra na emma eye okada fo tumi se obetumi ede eye mbefidie tetafo ya na moto no edi juma na enso sane ono no aba no wabaye nsakraye ewo won section 128 subcross 123 sane no no ebeboa mu won dwumedie ni won bibia no etimi akonkan openino sanso kire mu se enam se wo pese okada adwuma no eye fe na ye demankofo tumi ede wo homfode for the munti no wonyina no obenya atade kro na se uniform wo ye adwuma no na munyina mo be hye sana pa ekopem enumra ni nyina mo be hye atade baako na mo de edijuma mo benya helmet mo be sanso nya reflector sane no no ebebo ma mo dada setan ni dwumadi amuti no eho etumi ayefe openino sanso kire mu se wo be fosa okada no ebi no eye helmet no wonso wo benya bi na wode ahye wo no eti eninti no openino e de sansem we etu eja no owie no de tu eja se wone eye DVLA empenifo acheche enkomo se empenifo emboa se ne obetumi aye number plate baako obetumi aye number plate edi ama na fe no lances no se obetumi aye edi ama wonwa wodi efidie tetafo do ebedi djuma se ne ebebo mo so wodada setena no etimi akoso eliti wei aye ensem a Ora Amandeba Metre Ibrahim Amandeba no eye Acting Director General at the National Road Safety Authority NRSA Opedido editu eja
Yeko ensem fufromu dia na yebo ewuremu ewo Mental Health Authority for Asuyeye Mame Professor Adjoa Panaman Apel Mame no ensema woka enyina ene se meni unyina ebedi atum ni age penie ehu ne se sisia no akoba ne se game a ye no phone no so no yetimi eye addicted ewo sha game no ho no eba ne sa entweye emwa apomudimpa enunti mame ede ensem mienu atudwa wabra wono mu ehia ye o mame no ensema o kiremu enyina ne se etobie bia na entweye ebi ana nipa mienu miense bi efie ba ku bi na omakwa koye addicted to game eba ne sa entweye o kiremu ni nsemu sei.
Technology today has found its way into every aspect of our lives. Gaming in particular has become a global phenomenon, offering entertainment, connection, and even skill development, among others. However, the appeal of virtual worlds, and especially these gaming platforms, can be so powerful that it can lead to addiction, with devastating consequences for not just the individuals, but for families and the society as a whole. The impact of gaming addiction is not merely a personal struggle. It is a growing public concern. As future medical professionals, you have a crucial role to play in understanding, diagnosing, and treating this addiction.
Kwantintin bia ekowie krotia eninti ha ene bebema ye kwan makase ye jepene don hwede bakono esi nkunja ye kenkan ye ede ma won ye dibesi ede ama sania jumedi ahodro bia aka no ebetumi atoa so ede ama yemfa seda no ema Apam Global Church asafo no seda ne de nyina no ye bo omopunu mu omu eje yenso omo na aso yasene nti de bia hu yese ya ba beje kasamfoni atena so wo bra no nsia abode a na nasene ye de ma won eninti obo ade de nyampa echina echeyen ya empa bokese ebekoso ewo fidue mu ha wo yare niema enkoyi ejuma na wo ye no enkoyi a eya Apam nko a ena mekanfo edi amount sa so ena memenda oboade edi chen 29th ade communion service ebekoso eni ti bomodin se wo de beka odada setina no eho sekrata na book mu no betumi atro edi ato a ana obeka kire wo bebi na wakaiwa eno no so ade ebeboa yi papa so chiom rescue point ana so chiom rescue junction ena atena yekesi ebutu o pese woni enkofo bom paye ewo eya homachomo so a ofra home a mede ba betu eja wo beje wo so na ne awo komu nyina no wono etimi aboa eni 0249 669 993 0249 669 993 ana 0540378282 0540378282 na nimpedifo acheche enkomo akenkanfo no eye me na ama Fordjour me name
Catch the name. Nana ya.